aside from what you may believe, I take no satisfaction in simply being correct. I can't get no satisfaction from simply being correct. That's not how I operate. Now, was I correct? Did most people online seem to think that Marab was going to absolutely, decisively, brutally walk through Yan? Absolutely. Were a lot of people talking about how it was nothing but excuses, and whether or not Yan's hand was broken the first time around, that's not going to change any of or have an effect in any way on Marab's capabilities. And like, okay, what did he have in the first fight? What did Marab have against Yan in their first fight? He had like 109 takedown attempts or something like that. So I feel like the sentiment from people was like, oh, okay, so now Yan's coming in with two good hands, no broken hand. Okay, so instead of Marab having 109 attempts, maybe he'll have like 54 and a half. I went and uploaded a video a night. I think it was the very evening before the event. And I said this as a Marab fan. I said this as someone who owns a papaca. And yes, that may seem a little bit of a reach, a little bit hypocritical even, if you want to fight for it, because I have the papaca because of Khabib. But it fits my narrative right now. I say this as someone who is a Marab fan, as somebody who really likes that fool. I said that it wasn't looking good. I said, and it was easier for me to pick up on. If I was indifferent about Marab, I don't think I would have been as intuitive in this situation. I wouldn't have picked up on certain cues, on certain things going on around fight week, on some of the things that he was saying in certain ways that he was acting. But being a fan, and the reasons that I've been a fan, it was very obvious to me. It was like more on the radar when he started doing things against what made me a fan. He started talking different. He started, and I know I don't want you to misunderstand this statement, but I've been saying that it seemed like he started to fall in love with the smell of his own pedos. And I don't mean that like if he was a hype train and it was all fake, it was all a dream. I don't mean it like that. Because Marab is for real. He is the truth. He is dominant. He is effective. And I am a fan. That's not how I meant it. I just meant it seemed like lately there was something about his whole aura. There was something about the way he carried himself that made it seem like he was a little bit different from the guy that he was just a few fights ago. And I don't believe it made him stop working as hard. And I don't know if there's a report that's come out. I don't know if anybody has said of this most recent fight with Yan, if Marab did do 5 rounds in the back before this fight like he normally does. I don't know if he started doing anything different. He might have been in the back eating Nutella for all we know. He could have been in the back eating Nutella cakes with brates for all we know. But I said the night before, I'm concerned. I think that's what I titled the video. I'm concerned. I'm worried about Marab. I'm nervous for Marab. Because he came in, I don't even think it was a 3-piece suit. I think it was like a 5-piece suit. He's coming in, like, I think he was like mixing and matching. I think he was taking parts of multiple suits and forming one ultimate suit. I mean, it seemed as though he went a step above Conor McGregor. He was coming in with that 5-piece suit and he was just looking all tapered and done up. And again, it was very similar to what happened a few years ago with Charles Oliveira when he got all Gucci'd out. Fixed his eyes, fixed his teeth, fixed his, his skin. And by skin, I mean like his Fortnite skin. He started wearing his pants. He started wearing different kinds of shoes, his stunner shades, his Gucci bags. His pants were so tight. His pants had already begun started cutting off her circulation before Makachev ever did. These fighters start making the wrong decisions when they start falling in love with the smell of their own pedos. And I didn't like the way that Merab was talking at the press conference. He didn't seem humble. He didn't seem quiet, cool, calm, collected, confident. Here's the scary part. When you go from confident to cocky, when you're confident, there's this element of control that you maintain. This quiet confidence, this humility that keeps you grounded. I felt like Merab lost that lately, and it went from... Now, I'm not going to say he was all full-blown like Israel Adesanya or Floyd Mayweather or something crazy like that. He didn't start walking around talking like Triple C and stuff like that. I thought I should throw a non-black dude in there because people always think I'm racist when I just talk about how black dudes... But, I like... Who's a black dude that... Francis Ngannou doesn't talk papas like that. I say it all the time, and I get tired of defending myself. Some of my black friends are black. I say that all the time, and like people still doubt. I don't have an issue. People say that John Stockton was the greatest point guard of all time. I think it was Magic Johnson. That should tell you everything you need to know right there. And I love peanut butter. And a black dude invented peanut butter. Anyway. And I used to think, I remember I was scared. There was a window of time in my life where I thought, am I racist? Because I believe that the hip hop culture has been a cancer to America. Like, I think, does that make me racist? And then I realized, no, not at all. Because it was a bunch of white dudes in an office wearing suits and ties that invented hip hop and MK Ultra'd these dudes to play the part. Like, have you seen Tupac before he was a gangster thug? Like, are you kidding me, bro? It's fake. It's orchestrated. You hear the real story about any of these dudes, Dr. Dre, any of these dudes. They ain't for real. It's a charade. Anyway. I'm telling you, hip-hop was manufactured. That's why they called it in Big Daddy Hip-Hop Anonymous, because it's anonymous. Its origins. It came from a bunch of dudes from the Caucasus Mountains wearing suits and ties on a 19th story high rise. That's where hip hop was created. It didn't come out. It wasn't created with a hip to the hip did the don't. That's not where it came out. Are you kidding me, bro? To pick the wool out from your eyes, bro. It was a psyop. Anyway. I didn't like the way he was moving. I didn't like the way he was talking. I didn't like the way he was getting so braggadocious. That's not what got him there. He lost his path. He lost his way. He was the puppy who lost its way. And I said, oh, snap. I was just talking with Jesse Jr. about this the other day when it comes to fighting. It's not about who's strongest. It's not about who looks the biggest and the thickest. It's not about who's tallest. So much of fighting is about the IQ. The IQ. Now, if you get a 5'2" dude and a 8'4" dude, and they have the exact same talent and skill and IQ and attribute, okay, then you have a problem now. But it doesn't just go off of that. And like, if you oh snap, I lost my train of thought. What point was I making? Oh snap. See, this isn't a live stream, so I can't rewind it a little bit and refresh my memory like I did the other day. Oh, shoot. The music's going to pick up. Shoot, I forgot what I was saying. I think I was just making it a point about the IQ. I think I was just making a point about the IQ, the fight IQ. But that's all mental. Fight IQ's mental. And there was something going on mentally with Merab. And that's dangerous, because if the fight IQ's up here, if the fight IQ's mental, and this dude started moving the way he was and talking the way he was and running his mouth and acting different and starting drama and chatter, that is taking up. There was somebody, I watched a video the other day, I can't remember who it was, but he was trying to make this point. He's like, I always tell people this. You got this certain amount of bandwidth in your mind. And you're going to take it up with this and this and that and this and that. But no matter what, you only got a certain amount of bandwidth. So if you're going to take up, 70% of your bandwidth, and I don't remember what his example was, but in this case, if you're going to take up 70% of, and I'm not saying this is an accurate statistic, I'm just making this up for my narrative. If you're taking up 70% for talking papas and being dramatic and starting drama and doing this and that and being cocky and this and that, now you only got 30% that you're dealing with. Better to keep that high percentage for training, for thinking, for planning, for strategy. But if you start playing that game, if you start trying to get clicks, if you start getting too focused on trying to sell pay-per-views and this and that and this and that, you can't create. You can't go to the Apple storage. You can't go to the App Store and try to buy more space. You only got that bandwidth. And if he's taking it up with this and that, making an appearance on that, trying to be on this movie, doing the YouTube channel, social media, hanging out with Nina Chama, all this and that, while the whole time Yan is, you don't see Petr Yan in his kitchen like massaging Nina Chama's feet or nothing like that. You don't see them doing mukbangs together, doing TikTok dances. Merab doesn't get down like that. But Merab got distracted. He started to fall in love with the smell of his own pedos and Nina Drama's pedos. And that distraction, that him buying into that hype, again, which isn't fake hype because the dude's for real, but buying into it in a way and from an angle where it becomes something other than what's realistic. You could be a dominating, amazing fighter and still buy into yourself in a way that's dangerous. And he did that. Because if he would have been all in on his self and his health and his career on the highest level, with the highest type of IQ, the most professional and responsible and mature way, he would have did like Makhachev just did. And I have to credit that to Khabib. So I'm not giving Makhachev a compliment here. I'm giving it to Khabib. They wanted Makhachev to fight somebody. I can't remember who. They don't even have a fighter yet, I don't think. In, what was it, January or February? And Khabib said, nope. No, just because you want us to? No, that's not how it works. That wouldn't be smart. We have to train. We have to do things a certain way. We have to recover. We have to do nutrition. And sometimes fighters just say, yeah. And Merab bought into the storyline, into the narrative, I am a machine. Joe Rogan calls me a machine all the time. I am a monster. I am otherworldly. I'm a different type of being. I'm a different type of creature. I could do stuff that other fighters can't do. Adesanya wore himself out with too many title defenses, and he lost. I'm not like that. Pereira wore himself out with too many title defenses, I'm not like that. Volkanovski wore himself out with too many title defenses, even though he beat Makhachev. I'm not like that, And whoever else did that, George St. Pierre, I don't know, whoever fits that. I'm not like that. I'm different. How come? Because all these people keep saying it about me. Don't you see all the YouTube videos about me constantly? I'm a machine. I'm a machine. I have a whole 5-round fight before my fight even happens. I am a machine. And then look what happened. Makhachev goes out there, even though it might look boring, machine, dominates. Even if it's just laying on people, even if that's what we're going to call it, just laying on people, why can't they get up? World-class fighters. They can't even get up. Start thinking about that next time you want to make fun of lay and pray or it's boring or whatever. And it is. It is. At least Khabib grounded and pounded. With Makhachev, it's just a lot of non-activity. But how come the dudes in there can't get up? But he played it smart. He said, nope, that doesn't make sense. That's not a good idea. Makhachev said, I'll do it because I believe I'm a monster. I'm a machine because that's what everybody tells me. And he bought into it. You could be an amazing, historical Hall of Famer type of fighter and still buy into yourself a little bit too much where you don't respect yourself enough to make the right decision. Whether it's because he wanted to keep up that front, keep up that narrative that he's this unearthly type of being, whether he wanted to break the record that bad, whether he wanted the extra money to pay for that G63 G-Wagon that he just got, whether it's to pay for his multiple mortgages that he's been talking about, whatever it is, he made a bad decision. And I said it the night before, I don't like it, I'm concerned. I was wanting Merab to win because I'm a fan, but I said I think Yan's going to get it. And frankly, I don't know if Merab could get it back. Seeing the improvements that Yan made, he has outstanding. He displayed outstanding takedown defense. And if that's Merab's bread and butter, and if that's what gets him to where he needs to be, and Yan looked as unbelievably good as he did, while also piecing him up, while also making Merab get emotional and trying to fight Yan's fight, there's a tremendous gap that would have to be filled in order for it to take place differently the next time. And I can't see Umar being a threat to Yan based on what we saw the other night. I surely do not see O'Malley being a threat because Yan beat him the first time and O'Malley knows it and his coach knows it. Go back and watch the fight. After the fight, you could see them depressed, bummed out, and then surprised when they announced the winner. Everybody knows that O'Malley lost. Everybody knows that it was a farce when Aljamain took the title and then barely got the split and they favored the champion. Jan's basically undefeated in the UFC. I do not see him losing that title anytime soon unless he too starts falling in love with the smell of his own pedos. And I surely hope that he doesn't answer or respond to any of Nina Chama's DMs. It's Delilah.